What's going on, guys? So we're going to do a brief product review today of a pair of boxing boots that I bought back in February, and I'm kind of excited to do this review because I've been pretty impressed with these things so far. But first, we have a little bit of housekeeping to do. So number one is I'm going to try to improve the video and specifically the audio quality on the videos. Damn it, I can do so much better than this. I've been told by several people that the audio is way too soft, so I'll try to fix that in post. I don't have deep pockets. I can't go and buy more expensive microphones, wireless packs to wear a lav mic or anything like that. It's just that's a little bit out of reach right now. And on top of that, I'm not trying to make this my job. I really enjoy running my school and I like teaching in person. It's what I've wanted to do since I was a teenager. I'm living the dream. So this is supplementary at best. But that being said, if I want you guys to watch and if I want you guys to help me spread the message of the Black Sun, then I probably should give you guys higher quality production value. So I will try. To that end, something I should be said, I think that since I've started making videos again, I've held up to one video a week minimum pretty well, but that's not a thing that's like stable and standard. I'm not producing a TV show here. And if I don't have anything to say, right, if my brain and my will to shoot video is dried up, then I'm probably not gonna shoot anything. And so I cannot guarantee you a video every week, but I will try, okay? And there may be times when I take breaks from filming. There may be times where I repeat myself, where I think I can say something that I've said before again. It's just the nature of these things. So bear with all that. Now, to go along with that, because of the current, social climate and the lockdowns that we've had and all of that, there is a need and a desire now more than ever for remote learning. And so I have started filming our curriculum, like our formal curriculum in-house. And I've got most of the initiation done. I'm gonna start filming the novice stuff before long. Some of the videos are produced and I've already been, giving some of my students access to those. But I'm just about ready to start publishing those for you to purchase or to stream, however that's gonna work. And I'll put the links down below when we get there. But yeah, we're gonna start putting that material out, and that way, if you're interested in what we do, if you want to train and go deeper in what we do, then but you're not local or you can't commit to tuition or the schedule, you can at least get access to the material, and you and a few friends can start testing it out and see what you can add to your game, and take and leave things as you please. And we're not going to be offering any kind of certifications online or anything like that. That's not how we roll. I do not believe that any legit certification can be handed out without hands-on contact between teacher and student. I just don't believe that video offers enough to be able to certify anybody in anything. However, I do absolutely believe that if you are a diligent student, you can study the material and glean some value from that on your own. And who needs belts and certificates anyway? It's not what this is about. So understand that if you want some of the remote learning material when it's available, just understand that doesn't confer any kind of rank or standing within the organization. It would be no different than you going and buying a video of somebody that's long dead. You're not that guy's student, you just bought a video. We have to be honest about these things. And I did produce a video a little while back on how to learn remotely, so I'll link that down below when we go through this. Okay, so that's all done, that's all said. Let's get to our product review.
You
are not always going to be able to live by the teachers, schools, and styles that you want. But we live in a miraculous age where all of that information is at your fingertips, if only you have the willingness and the dedication to put in the work on your own. If you are one of those people, join the Blacks Unboxing Satellite Apprenticeship Program today. Now, this is something I don't do normally. I do not spend a lot of time doing product reviews. I've done 2 book reviews, and I don't think I've reviewed any products that I use or anything other than that. And don't expect this to become a product review channel. But I'm excited about these boots because, so I have big-ish feet. I don't have huge feet, but I have big feet. My right foot is 12 wide and my left foot is about a ½ inch, maybe just under a ½ inch longer than my right foot. I have mismatched feet. I have mismatched hands too. My left hand is longer than my right, but just a little bit. Not the arms, not the legs, just the hands and feet. Everybody's asymmetrical, whatever. But that being the case, it is hard for me to find good shoes, and I like a very minimalist shoe. Now, I used to wear like Merrell trail runners, which were some of the most comfortable shoes I've ever had, but I don't like low tops. I grew up wearing high tops and boots. I grew up in New England, and it's just like when you have cold weather and snow and precipitation, you tend to want something that covers your ankle a little bit, just to ward off some of the seepage that comes in. I just prefer a higher top shoe. Now, for the last handful of years, I've been wearing wrestling shoes as my walk-around shoes, which have been great, right? Even with like the actual trail runners, I only got about a year out of them. Wrestling shoes, I would get about a year out of them. Now, to be fair, I have not had these boots for a year yet. I've only had them for, well, since mid-February. And so, and now today I'm shooting is the 2nd of June. I don't know when I'm going to publish this video, but it's the 2nd of June. So I've had them for a little over 3 months. Now, the reason that the 3-month mark is important for me is one time I did have a pair of Feiyu shoes, which are the low top kung fu shoes that get thrown around. And those are very comfortable shoes. They're very pliable, and as mat shoes, they're great. If you just wear them on the mats, they're great. But if you want them to walk around in, I wore them out in about 2 months, and I've heard similar stories from other people. They wear out real fast. Well, these boxing boots, I bought not for mat shoes. I bought them as my walking around shoes, and they're still holding up. So let's bring them out and talk about some of the features here. So these are the Title SpeedFlex Encore. Now, I have altered these. This is not what they're going to look like when you get them. They are a black and white shoe. The Title logo on the ankle and the heel are in white. And I blacked them out because I just am not that big of a fan of wearing big logos on things unless it's my own. So, so I just spray painted those over. Now, this mesh was black as well, and I just wanted a little extra color, and I'm a green and black kind of guy, typo negative. And so I got some green spray paint and spray painted the mesh, which because a lot of the paint goes in, it makes it darker than the hunter green paint, which I really like. So it's a kind of a subtle effect, which is real nice. The tongue also comes with a big old vinyl logo, and I just took a seam ripper and took that off. Now, here's what's impressive about these. There's almost no tread on them. They're stippled. If I can get, I don't know if the camera will focus, but on this, they're just kind of stippled. And it provides enough grip that it's not that, so they're not slippery, but it also doesn't grip the ground so much that my foot sticks to the ground and makes it so I'm gonna like blow out my knee. Like with the wrestling shoes, some of them have a really aggressive sole, which kind of makes sense for wrestling, but some of them have a pretty aggressive sole on them. And if you're standing like the vinyl covering on our mat mates up with the wrestling shoes so much that you can't pivot very well with them. And so these, they actually, and I did test these on the mat before I made them in my walking around shoes, and these do pivot on the mat pretty nicely. which is great because that means that I can kickbox in them and actually do savate with the shoes on the way it's meant to be, as opposed to going barefoot because I'm going to blow out my knee if I wear my wrestling shoes. And like I said, I didn't buy these as mat shoes, and because they're street shoes, I don't wear them on the mat, but I will likely be buying another pair for mat shoes. Now, let's go over a couple of negatives about these. Number one is that in the 3 months I've had them as walking around shoes, the sole is starting to kind of split from the main housing of the shoe just a little bit. Now, that's easy enough to repair with some good flexible glue, contact cement, shoe glue, whatever. I'm not that worried about it right now, and that's an easy enough repair. The wear pattern on the heel and the ball of the foot is pretty typical. We will see how those wear over the long term, because if I've put a hole through them in 6 months, that may be a different problem. But being as it's a little over 3 and the wear pattern's not terrible, I have some pretty good hope for it. Now, the other big thing is the insole on it is not integrated. So one, you can change it out, which I guess is okay. But I don't want like a big cushion or anything in there. And the old insole got torn up real fast. I tend not to wear socks. There's a story there, but I got out of the habit of wearing socks with barefoot shoes, so I go barefoot inside the barefoot shoe, and now it just feels weird to wear socks with anything other than like heavy boots. And so, when you have foot sweat, when you're walking in 100-degree Phoenix weather, it tends to stick and make that non-integrated insole slide around. And so I had to replace them, but it's a $2 expense to replace them, every 3 months, whatever. I'm not worried about spending $8 extra a year on insoles if that's what's necessary, and no guarantee the aftermarket insoles are going to wear out quite as fast. The other thing I don't like is that the tongue is not integrated. Now, I've gotten used to the boots that I have, like the actual nice boots that I have. The tongue is integrated right into the thing, so there's no gapping there, which is really nice. And so, a separated tongue is actually really, really common, but I really kind of wish that it was integrated, just because I think it makes it a little bit nicer. Now, the other thing, and I understand these are not wrestling shoes, and boxers don't kick people in the face, and most kickboxing is done barefoot. However, wrestling shoes often have a pouch in the tip of the tongue where you can stow the laces, which I think is really, really great. And that way you're not whipping people in the face with the laces when you kick them. And again, that's not what these are intended for, so you can't really fault the shoe for it. But if I were to redesign these for, say, savate, I would include a pouch that I could tuck the laces into. Now, there are ways around that without having to just duct tape them down. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is something to be aware of. And yes, these are perfectly viable as wrestling shoes as well. So I think that they were about $45 at the beginning of the year. I have no idea what price they are now, how much the prices fluctuate. In my experience, boxing and wrestling shoes tend to be pretty static because they're somewhat niche. So unless the supply chains are disrupted, which who knows, maybe, they should be pretty price stable for the foreseeable future. But for the price these are, which is really cheap for a boxing boot, by the way, it's not bad. And if I can get better than 6 months out of them, honestly, it's worth the price. Even if I have to replace them twice a year, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And these things are super flexible. I can ball them up, right? This is what I want in a shoe, despite the little nitpicky things. It's a good shoe, and I definitely recommend you getting them. And maybe you're not as bothered by the big, bold, goofy logos as I am, but it was easy enough to fix. And if you don't like plain black, well, you can do like I did and get some spray paint and paint the things. You just got to mask off the parts you don't want painted, or go in with a brush, however you want to do it. But the fact is, not a bad boot for the price. They work on the mats, and I've been wearing them as street shoes, and they're fine. And even with the thin soles, in the 100+ degree weather in Phoenix, at noon, the sidewalk is not burning through my feet and making my feet uncomfortable. So not a bad product at all. So with that, I think I've rambled on long enough, and I will talk to you guys next time. Good journey.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, give the dog a bone. You can follow us on our other social media accounts, and if you really like us, you can head over to Amazon and buy a shirt. You can also go over to Gumroad and purchase some of our instructional courses. All of the links will be provided and also on our website. If you happen to be in the Phoenix area, we would love to meet you. Come drop in for a class, even just to chat. And if you're looking for a new home, we would be happy to have you. So until next time, good journey.